He's down in. So we'll proceed without him. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you would all stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, so the first order of business is to approve the minutes from our January meeting. So everyone's had a chance to review those. Were there any additions or corrections or omissions that need to be noted? Motion to approve. Do we have a second? Second, Rachel, thank you. Any opposed? Then if you would respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those in favor, I should say, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry, a month out, I'm getting stale on the. Okay, here on the next item is the approval, of the KEDCO update. If Peggy, if you would let us know what's happening with KEDCO.
Where do I start? Good afternoon, it's great to be here.
There you go. That's better. It's a pleasure to be here. There is so much going on at KEDCO. Jan can attest as to how hard we work and carry. It's just really great to have such great partners to help us do the work of economic development throughout the county. A couple things I just want to mention. Attraction projects, Slate Automotive. We all know the big reveal was last week, a little different than Slate had earlier anticipated, but just an amazing opportunity for the community, I believe. We're still under an NDA, so there's so many things publicly that I can't say. There's some pieces that need to be finalized and put together. One is coming before the county tonight to talk about a real estate abatement. But as a company that's focused on reindustrialization, they could have landed anywhere, and they chose Warsaw. I think the beauty of this project is also that the former LSC Donnelly plant only stayed vacant for less than a year. In an economic development, that just doesn't happen. So just very fortunate to have such a national project. Innovation, it diversifies our portfolio. We're not just considering and concentrating on one area, but just diversifying the opportunities for employment up to 2,000 people. That's a lot. They want those first vehicles to roll off the lot at the end of next year. So it's going to be critical that we soon start that process later this year of hiring. I know they've hired some. The great thing too is on that campus, there are already 2 suppliers that have said, I'm going to move from the state, from another state to come and be under roof. And so again, more jobs are created, more opportunities for our residents, and keeping our kids here. It's just really important that we provide job opportunities in all areas, that our kids can come out of high school or college and say, you know what, I'm going to work at home. So just another great opportunity for that. It brings attention as well to the I-30 corridor. And, the impact of bringing more people into Warsaw and Kosciuszko County, it's hopefully going to bring some more attention. And at that level of a manufacturer, hopefully, they can lobby in Washington or the state and really put that on the map of the importance of the safety of that corridor. So there'll be more information. We're going to host, we'll host an event here in the summer when they're ready, and we'll just share the whole with the world. So excited about that. Retention projects. Attraction is important to us, but business retention is equally, if not more important. So we spend a lot of time on plant tours. I've talked to a number of businesses who say, well, what is this new attraction going to mean for my business? So it's just a good opportunity to take a look at your culture in your business and make sure that you're providing a space where employees want to be loyal and stay. And if we do have some of that cannibalism, KEDCO will definitely work to try to fill those spots. We've got another project we're working with the city of Warsaw on. It's an orthopedic project that will bring another couple hundred jobs. So very strategic about the jobs and the projects that we work on. And the one thing that I want everybody to know about the new KEDCO is that if we bring a project to you guys, to the county, to a city, a municipality, I just want you to know that we've vetted that project and looked at it from every level objectively. And if KEDCO brings a project, I think it's a project that we can all take a good hard look at. And we'll disagree, that's perfectly fine. But I want that trust to be built, and that takes time. So we're working on housing. Very early on, we signed an MOU with Heather Presley Cowan Club 720 and Mission Build. And we have 7 communities that have called KEDCO and said, we've got some land. Can you help us work through that process? Because attainable housing for, our teachers, police, and fire are so important. And so we have actually signed MOUs with 3 communities. One of those communities is actually doing soil testing. So hopefully in the coming months, we'll be able to announce those projects and get going on those. But we serve, again, all of the communities within Kosciuszko County. So we're looking especially at our smaller communities that may need infrastructure, may need housing, coming alongside them, and also through the CAP program, the Community Amenities Program through the ORI dollars. We're starting to work with those small communities, listening to what their projects are, getting them into the portal, and getting some much needed revenue and opportunities into those smaller communities. At the same time, we work with the school systems in Wawasee, Warsaw, and Tippecanoe Valley to discuss where growth might occur so that it's not a surprise to the school system. If a housing project is underway, they can plan for that. Really excited to be able to partner with Zimmer Biomet, Plug and Play, KEDCO, and OrthoWorks to sponsor a space at the GEC, the Global Entrepreneurship Congress, that's coming to Indianapolis in June 2nd through 5th. This is an opportunity. This conference was started in 2009, and this is only the 2nd time that it's been held in the United States. So we are teaming together to go down. We're going to have a large booth area, and that's a small footprint because the only other booths that'll be down there will be IEDC, the IU, and what we call All In Kosciuszko. We're going to go down and, we're the orthopedic capital. We are very innovative in our agriculture. Our manufacturing now has gone to a different level. So we just want to go down to that conference where they expect to be upwards of possibly 5,000 people from around the world. These are venture capitalist people that are looking to invest, and we're going to do our very best to show the assets and the real benefit of locating in the county. So we're excited about being able to do that. We are working closely with Plug and Play and the cohorts that are coming in and out of there. We definitely want them to be immersed and exposed into the Kosciuszko County culture, so that if they get to the point where they are looking for a place to start a business, that they definitely consider Warsaw. So we're coming alongside of them. Plug and Play has made it possible for us to go to their conference in June. We're going to go out to Sunnyvale, be able to meet some of the people behind the scenes at Plug and Play and really promote, again, how well that works here and how that can work into our ecosystem. We're all about partnerships. I've mentioned OrthoWorks, the Chamber, Zimmer Biomet, the different organizations that we partner with. We're very much working with the partnership in Fort Wayne and bringing opportunities to partner with them to showcase the assets, again, that we have here in Kosciuszko County. They were here, they brought 3 developers, and we talked about Kosciuszko County, and it was interesting because they did a kind of a tour, and we were the next to the last stop that day on the tour. And one of the developers said, "Oh my gosh, you've got it really going on here in this county." And so we just look for opportunities again to be a salesperson I participated in an interview. The partnership is looking for some higher accreditation, which will bring much more resources to what they can provide the local economic development organizations. And so had an opportunity to sit in on an interview process with them and talk about the benefits of having that layer of support for us. So just very glad to do that. We continue to host education on the 21st of May. We're partnering with Purdue MEP, and we're going to host a class on AI and how that's a game changer for industries. Then we will transition to our manufacturing roundtable, where we bring manufacturers in and provide some networking opportunities, but also some education in topics that they're interested in. And then we'll go into our entrepreneurship social, which is another area that we're looking at how we can better equip entrepreneurs and people who are looking to invest in putting those opportunities together. So we hung our shingle 10 months ago, shy of 2 days of saying we provide these economic development services across the county. And we've just been grateful that we've been accepted and that we're really hopefully making a difference in creating wealth for the community. So, and we thank you for your support, and many of you have been in meetings, and I appreciate that.
Good, thank you, Peggy. Any questions for KEDCO, for Peggy? But yeah, your efforts, are being seen. So appreciate all the work that your
Thank you
team
for
is
that.
doing. So,
All right, thank you.
good, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Steve, Highway Department.
Good afternoon. I wanted to update you on a couple of different things today. Just kind of keep you in the loop on where we're at with the two projects that we currently have with TIF money out of Maple Leaf. They've currently raised Senate bill or House Bill 1461 has raised the limit from 250,000 to 375,000 that you can do with your own forces. So with that, we'll be able hopefully to save a little and be able to complete the whole extension for Maple Leaf going from 200 East to Old State Road 15. And maybe some improvements at the intersection there of 200 East too. So this project's looking like to take place after the completion of our chip and seal program, which will be sometime after July 1st. Now, I'll never say a date because I don't know the weather. So, but it will be after that date. It won't be before. It's the same thing with the co-op. So the co-op TIF is 700 West from State Road 25 down to 700 South. Looks like that we'll be able to complete that zone as well. And with that being said too, all the striping, signage will be upgraded as well with reflectivity. Sometimes when we pave things like that and they are hard to see at night for some of the traveling public. So that was one thing we want to make sure that we included fog lines in that. We've communicated with Dreyfus and with the co-op both on the expansion that we're going to try to do to connect the dots down there to make sure that we can get traffic taken down to 700 to the truck route. So that was a pretty big positive. That also will take place after July 1st. Of course, not a date again. We're just before winter. So we'll go with that. The other thing that I'd like to talk to you about today, since I have the opportunity, is that the old 30 TIF currently out on the west side of town, there's been some activity out that way with a new business coming in. Meeting with them a little bit to discuss some of the issues that might be rising with the increase of semi-traffic for construction, and not only construction, but import and outport out of that venue is there today. And I have a handout for you real quick that I'll give to you after we go through that. With the new slate coming in and the CCAC expanding some of their fields out that way, and the current Chenworth Edition trail that has been put in, increased traffic for safety is concerning. And these are things that we try to head off ahead of time, right? So we don't want to get in a situation where all expansion happens out there. The CCAC is booming. The Chenworth addition comes in, and we're not prepared as a highway department to take on those challenges to make sure that everybody moves safely through that venue. There is a time constraint on this a little bit as things are moving forward with the trail. The trail is being completed in construction as we speak right now from the Trail Committee, which is a great addition not only to our infrastructure, but also to our residents, that they have somewhere that they can go and enjoy Kosciuszko County. The same thing with the CCAC. As season begins here for softball and baseball and soccer out there, you're going to see an increase in traffic as well. And with also the increase of slate coming into town, not knowing all of the details, but knowing kind of the venues and how many trucks we're going to have compared to the way that it used to be, there's some issues out there that I'd like to try to address. Now, with the time constraint that we have trying to get it complete this summer, I would like to ask if there would be any way that we could use those TIF dollars out for there. In my opinion only, is that this truly is a definition of the TIF dollars. This is an extension for development and to where we can gain a lot. So I have a sheet here that I'd like to pass around, and it kind of shows you a plan.
Thank you, Steve.
Fancy staple, look at that.
So addressing some of those safety concerns at the front page, you'll see that we've broken down and looked into great detail on how we can improve this. In the past, and we've looked at other areas around the county where we've already had some improvements with industry coming in, such as True Point up north on 1350, on 1300, excuse me, how we improved that intersection coming in there for their semi-traffic. And then we've also looked a little bit on our section out by Old 30, where we have, quite a few different industries coming in and out, and including the highway department, how we're getting our trucks in and out. And we asked one of our friends, USI, to kind of look at this area to kind of design something that they think that would be safest for the traveling public. And that's adding in 2 turn lanes. Now, out there's already turn lanes between both the CCAC and the old R.R. Donnelly's plant, all 3 of those intersections where they've had some turn-in lanes. But we're looking to make a decel lane so that if a truck or a car or a shift change is happening, they have a spot to go so that the traveling public can still remain flowing both east and west as they go through there. You can see that here's a breakdown.
The third page, if you're not. You all got it, okay.
Yeah, there's a drawing there. Just kind of shows you both the north and south of Old 30, connecting those existing turn lanes. Now, as I go through and I look at this, and you look at what we've put down for our quantities, we tried to be frugal, but at the same time, we wanted to be able to do this in-house, because if we didn't, we wouldn't be able to afford it. By doing it with our own forces, yes, timing is going to be of the essence, and especially with the road program that we have, it's going to be robust, but this is something important enough, not only to the safety of the traveling public, but all the way to all of the rest of the community. And I think making this improvement quickly is one of the other things. So we went through and did this. He broke down the quantities, what we would need for stone and fabric. And the big thing is paint striping. And for paint striping out there, it'd be a little bit more expensive as well, because we'd want epoxy, because we want it to glitter a little bit, to be very honest. And with that, there's going to be a lot of kids at the CCAC. And then when they're there, they're going to go on the trails and the industry coming in, and they're going to use those trails as well during lunch. We want to make sure things are lit up pretty good. So I would like to ask if I could use that TIF money to improve Old 30 out at that corridor.
Steve, I was curious. Is that 375, was that effective like immediately or is that July 1st? I haven't looked into it all that much as far as that threshold.
July 1st, it goes into
July
effect,
1st.
yeah.
And then the other thing is maybe tell them too, is that's going to, in theory, increase annually based on inflation and those kind of
Yeah.
things, which will be a nice thing rather than them being locked into this 250 for all these years that they've been. So.
Good call.
Steve, could you speak to the impact? So originally, the number of employees was estimated at Slate at 1,600. Now they're saying maybe more realistic is 1,800 up to 2,000. And so they'll be running multiple shifts, one would anticipate.
Yeah.
So the impact,
And so that's one of the worries, you know, anytime you get a shift change, you know, the cars coming in and out, there's going to be 3 shifts, you know, and you're looking at 600 cars in and 600 cars out. Well, that's 1,200 cars that we got to make sure that move in and out of there smoothly. And depending on the time of the day, you know, and I'm not real sure when their shifts are going to be, but you're looking, you know, 6 days a week. So there's going to be some definitely increase in traffic. And I think with having that extra lane, both to the north and south, we can get those in and out safely.
if you look in our notebooks that Alyssa provided, you can see the current balance on the first page. The current balance of the 30 West TIF is 412,892 and change. So there's sufficient funds in the TIF to support the request. So questions that you have for Steve. Carrie's also been highly involved in the discussions as well. So between the two of them, if you've got any questions.
And also Peggy has been very involved in this too as well. She's very good at answering any questions.
You know, these are TIF dollars that are going to be returned, you know, as Slate develops and you know, does more out there and more vendors are coming under roof, it'll be easy to recover these dollars. And again, you're investing in your own infrastructure. It's not like, you know, we're sending this money or giving it to Slate, but it's infrastructure that you own and maintain. And so the money stays here locally with you.
I think
Good
so.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent point. Along those lines, you know, when we have a project that is close to a city or town, there's also the potential that that city or town might want to expand out or to annex. And so being mindful of, you know, county dollars and if they would be part of what could be part of an annexation in the future. But there's been no discussions from what I've had and the folks that I've spoken to, there's been no discussion about the city making plans along those lines. So it is a county project. It would remain a county project. Comments or questions for Steve, Peggy, Carrie, or anybody else?
What number are you thinking?
In this, like, just good question. So at the very bottom, the total that I was asking for was 350,000. And I did put an overrun in there. And the reason for the overrun, when we get out there and pave, sometimes you don't know what you can find. Well, you know, right? So there's some things out there that are unseen. And I want to make sure that this is a nice project. You know, we have a very unique situation out there that can be very impactful for our community and for people coming in to visit. I want to make sure that that road looks nice and more complete, that this is a prideful project as well. Not only safety, but we want to show how much that we care about, you know, those coming into our county. So I did have a little overrun. So 350,000 is what I'm asking for.
And 100 of that is for
Yeah.
potential overruns.
Yeah, potential overrun.
Has there been any discussions about where I mean, we don't know where the employees are going to be coming from. And so obviously the scope of this is just limited largely in front of the CCAC and the old Donley facility. But are we anticipating impacts on any of the, you know, adjacent intersections?
Yes. The roundabouts always will be used. And what a benefit that we already have those in. If you remember, well, I'm old, so a long time ago, right, there was always congested area. one of the bigger things when we put those roundabouts in, you could see the smooth transition. Lucky for us, they were done far enough back that people are used to them now, you know, where they can flow around them and understand how to use them. Paint striping that you look at here goes actually all the way to that roundabout to make sure that that roundabout's well lit so they know where to go in and out of. And then 350 West. 350 West was reconstructed probably about, I would say, 10 years ago, where we had cut back some hillsides, put some different ditches on to secure that road. So that has been upgraded. And we'll kind of see how things go as we progress. But that intersection is already pretty wide currently. But if there's other improvements that need to be done at that intersection, the county highway will take those into account, especially after we see how the trail and all that kind of works together. So one other thing I do want to mention, if you look at the bill there, you will see temporary traffic control signals. With those, we want to make sure that we don't shut down Old 30. One, because I don't want the phone calls. No, teasing. But as you go through, we can't stop business going through there. So those temporary traffic control signs are actually the ones you see downtown. Right? The red, light, and green, they'll actually stop traffic so that we can maintain the safety of our employees as we work in that zone. But we're still keep traffic open so we don't slow down anything. So.
Question on like historically Donley and how many folks were in and out of that facility and truck traffic. My sense is that this seems to be more. Is that true? Can you comment on that?
I would say the combination of all three seems to be more.
Yeah.
Similar wise, you're going to be a little bit more than probably Donley's. I don't have those numbers, but I'm just anticipating. But with the numbers that I have, and so what we do is we run a data study using the MUCTD, which it's a book that the federal highway adopts, and then the state of Indiana adopts it, and that's the traffic that we have. When we go by that, and when we use those traffic numbers and those data numbers, it'll tell you what you should have. So, and it gives you 3 or 4 different models, and I know that all our cities and towns have to follow the same thing. So that kind of helps us as a guideline when you see the traffic volume. And what we did was we ran 2 traffic studies there prior to this event coming in because of the Chenworth edition. So I wanted to know how many semis I had. And then after I found that number, then we added it with the new numbers coming in to give our data and speed too as well. So
I can't recall, so I could be off. Maybe somebody else would remember better than I, but I thought when Donley's closed, I think there was talk of 500. Now, again, those numbers may have dwindled as business slowed. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know if
they dwindled
a lot.
dramatically,
So I
yeah.
don't know if they were at their peak. I don't know what was automation and what was just a reduction in business, but at least we can say that the numbers that we're talking about in the future are dramatically more than what we're used to at that facility. Fair.
yeah, we hope it's more. Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? If not, if there's support for this, if we could have a motion to accept the request for $350,000 for the improvement of Old 30 in front of what will be the new Slate Automotive.
Also move.
Okay.
I'll second. You can have whoever.
All right. Any further discussion? If not, then all those in favor, if you'd respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion's
Thank
carried.
you very much. And I'll try to be up here. I'll be on the docket. I'll just try to keep you in the loop as much as possible as we go through these. We'll get you some pictures and stuff too, just to show you like what the dollars are going for and how it's improved our community. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Something else that the Redevelopment Commission needs to consider, nothing that we'd act on today, but that TIF has been in existence. It's going to mature in 2040, so 15 more years. But the real, the value of that assessment, if we only collect for 15 years, we'll miss out on what could have been the length of a full TIF maturity. So we talked about engaging Reedy, the group that came in and that does consulting work. The county is in talks with them about further engagements, but to have them do some analysis for us as to whether or not we would want to revisit, whether it be renewing or redoing that TIF, just so that we could capture that assessed value over the length of the full maturity of a TIF. So, Adam, any thoughts on that?
No, I think it'd be great to have the financial advisor along the side of the redevelopment commission through all these kind of conversations, because they can really put hard numbers to it and give you a picture of what you're looking at.
Yeah. Were you going to say something? Okay, all right, great, thanks everyone. Well, moving on then, area planning. Matt.
So just a brief update, but I will piggyback off the one thing that we're talking about with Donley. I think one big difference you'll see that from when Donley was in its heyday is all the residential that's been built since that time that they really started dwindling. So that's offset a lot of that. Got Atlantis and some of those other subdivisions. So that traffic's just going to keep picking up even more. But along the lines of the old Road 30 TIF, yesterday, our Plan Commission just passed on a recommendation to the commissioners that will be seeing here in 2 weeks for a new development just outside of Etna Green. So right next to White Oak Powder Coating. If you know Joey's RV in Atwood, right now they're currently there. They're looking at relocating their operation to a site just there on the corner of 300 and 950. So falls right in that TIF area that we're just talking about. The only other thing I was going to kind of give you an update on, another project that you guys have a TIF on, is the Eastfield subdivision up in Milford. That one, we've been pushing out permits pretty consistently there. I believe phase 1 is almost full. I think there may be 1 or 2 sites left that they haven't built on yet. So anticipating that one to come back up pretty quick for their second phase. And hopefully that one moves just as quickly. So, but otherwise keep them busy.
Excellent, good.
Yeah.
Great.
Great. Thank you, Matt. Okay, Alyssa, I think we're gonna turn the mic over to you as it relates to the certification letter.
Yes, I just have the letter that the council, the redevelopment commission provides to the council, stating that there is no excess assessed value for the 25 pay 26 tax year. And that's just per IC code 36-7-14-39. So basically, it's just me telling you that you're going to tell the council that there isn't any, and there usually is none. And once you guys accept this letter, then we'll just have Doug sign it at the end of the meeting.
Okay. Do you have a copy of the letter?
I do.
Can we see
No.
it? No?
Yeah.
If I'm gonna ask for a
We just want to
motion-
sign it? Is that what
Well,
we're?
I'm gonna sign it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's okay. Just pass it around, just real quick. If I'm gonna ask them to provide a motion on it, I thought they at least ought to see what they're approving. And then while you're all looking at that, the next item on our agenda is we need to read into the minutes the status, the current status, as well as the amounts that have been collected and the balances in each of the subsequent TIFs. And so I've asked Jan if she would read through these. They're in your minutes, but she's going to just read the information so that they can be read into the minutes. So that's what we'll do once we have a motion on this letter. Okay. If everybody's okay with that, then if we could get a motion to accept this letter. Have I?
I'll make a motion to accept
Okay.
the letter.
Kevin's first motion, second. Do we have a second? Okay, any further discussion? If not, then all those in favor, if you'd respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Okay. Motion is carried. Good. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna have Jan then read through these. After she reads each TIF, we'll just open it up for just a brief moment if there's any questions, comments that we'd want to make relative to each TIF.
So you
Floor
want
is
to,
yours.
okay. So the first one is the co-op TIF, which was established in 2015 with an end date of 2040. The commission's budget for the tax increment revenues collected for 2025 approved was $482,000. The fund balance is $694,632.29. The long-term plan is continued to support the infrastructure opportunities as funding allows. Paving County Road 700 West from State Road 25 to County Road 700 South was $660,000, which was approved. And then there isn't any impact on each allocation area overlapping taxing units at this time. The taxing units within the TIF are Franklin, Seward, and taxing entities, County Solid Waste District, Franklin Township, Seward Township, Tippecanoe Valley Schools. So do you want to have?
Yeah, any comments? Nope, okay, keep
Okay.
on going.
Leesburg. This TIF was established in 2008 and has an end date of 2033. The commission's budget for 2025 approved was $162,500. The fund balance is $278,754.75. The long-term plan is to continue to support the infrastructure opportunities as funding allows, get updates on previous allocated projects in the area. There is no impact on each allocation area in the overlapping tax units at this time. Taxing units within the TIF plan are the county, Plain, and then the taxing entities, County Solid Waste District, Plain Township, and Warsaw Schools.
An update on Leesburg, Fab Labs or Frank and Becky Levinson. I spoke with them. The Redevelopment Commission had funded or approved the funding of, I don't have it listed here. Do you recall? It's 250,000, if I remember correctly, 250,000. The county to go then to the Ready Grant 2.0 and request matching dollars. If they can't get that, the matching dollars from Ready 2.0, they would have to scale back so dramatically that they would have to kind of start from square one. And so the discussion that we had was that they're going to try to get a commitment from RDA in June, either a go, no go. And with the new budget down at the State House and the IEDC, some of the funding may not be as liquid as what it had been. And so there's concern that they won't receive the funds from Ready 2.0. If so, then we would claw that dollar, or we haven't dispersed the funds, but we would allow then those funds to go back into the TIF pot for distribution for other projects. They're just as committed and mindful of making sure that those dollars are used for a meaningful project. And if it's not them, they want to make sure that it's made available for other projects. So again, great relationship with Frank and Becky Fab Lab, good communication. And so we're going to wait till June to see if they can get a commitment from Ready 2.0. And then at that point, then we'll decide whether or not that's something that we keep on the books or whether we pull that money back. Any questions on that? If not, Jan, if you'll keep on going.
Okay, so True Point and True Point expansion TIFs. The TIF area was originally established in 2013. The expanded TIF happened in 2015. The end dates are 2038 and 20 40 for the expansion portion. The commission's budget fund balance is $165,422.15. The long-term plan is continued to support the infrastructure opportunities as funding allows and satisfy the bond balance, which is $203,554.13. There's no impact on each of the allocation areas and the overlapping tax units. The taxing units within the TIF are Turkey Creek and Van Buren. The taxing entities are the county solid waste district, Turkey Creek Township, Van Buren Township, Wawasee Schools, and the Syracuse Library.
Okay, keep on
Okay.
going.
Van Buren Maple Leaf TIF. This was established in 1996 and is set to expire in 2026. The commission's budget for the tax increment was 2025 approved of $282,500. The fund balance is $444,754.69. With respect to long-term plan, we are continue to support infrastructure opportunities as funding allows, paving 2-mile stretch of Mock Road, Old 15 to 200 East, which was $444,000 that was approved. There is no impact at this time for each allocation area and the overlapping tax units. Taxing units within the TIF are Van Buren, and then entities, County Solid Waste District, Van Buren Township, Wawasee Schools, and the Milford Library.
I think we'd agreed, Adam and Alyssa, that we just let it sunset, that there's, since this is going to mature next year, that there wasn't, I think Reedy said there wasn't anything actionable that needed to happen. Is that?
That was my understanding of the
Okay.
discussion, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Edna Green Residential Economic Development. The TIF area was established in 2024. The commission's budget is $0. The long-term plan for each allocation area is to continue to support the infrastructure opportunities as funding allows. No TIF increments have been captured for the TIF area. TIF has collected $0 funds. There's no impact to each allocation area and the overlapping taxing units. Taxing units within the TIF, I guess we don't have any. Edna Green, okay. I was gonna say, it had to be somebody. Taxing entities, County Solid Waste District, and the Triton Schools.
Just by way of maybe education for the newer members as well, making sure to understand that Etna Green TIF is actually the town of Etna Green's TIF. They just don't have their own redevelopment commission. So when we establish that one, the statute basically says that the county redevelopment commission can step in and serve as the Etna Green redevelopment commission for establishing that TIF. And that was kind of all at the direction of the Etna Green Town Council and their driving of that. So that one's a little bit unique than from all the other ones for that reason.
And there probably won't be anything
Yeah,
involved
it doesn't.
of that.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
they have put it to them for right now.
I was going to ask, since Peggy made the comment that there's an MOU for a housing development, where did you say it was? I'm sorry. What was, okay. I must have heard what I wanted to hear instead of what you actually said. You did also mention Winona powder coating, and I was just. That was Matt. That was Matt.
Matt, yeah.
Well, you guys look so much alike. I got you confused.
Eastfield is the one I had mentioned up in Milford.
But I was thinking,
I heard the Milford one too, yeah.
Oh, that's a commercial operation there.
that's the Joe's
yeah.
RV. Okay,
Correct.
okay.
Okay,
Manufacturing.
right.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. I got that confused. Alyssa, I hadn't noticed in our maps, some are pinkish color, reddish color, and some are green. Is there significance to the color?
Just because that's the color that they're coded in.
Okay, so this green here next to Winona powder coating represents,
That's the old 30 tip.
that is the extension of the old 30 TIF. Okay, all right. Okay.
Some of them did fall in the same pictures.
Do
Okay.
we have a picture of that individual TIF or no?
It was,
Is it that one? Okay.
I believe the red in this map was, or I should say, is what was proposed, right? Is, yeah, it's just not active. Right?
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I made that abundantly confusing, so.
So you give pictures and you still.
Yeah, I know. Somebody needs to draw the lines for me, so. Okay,
All right.
I think I'm the only one who had questions. Anybody else? Make me feel better, somebody else. If you continue, Jan.
Moving on.
Yes,
Yes,
moving on,
okay.
please.
South Shore Residential TIF area was established in 2024. I don't have an end date, but the commission's budget is 0 for that, the TIF. And the long-term plan for each allocation area is to continue to support the infrastructure opportunities as funding allows. No TIF increments have been captured for the TIF area. TIF has collected 0 funds. There are no impacts to each allocation area of the overlapping tax units. The taxing units within the TIF is Turkey Creek, and taxing entities are the County Solid Waste District, Syracuse Library, and Wawasee Schools.
And there has been some developments, nothing, I would say overly significant, but there is an MOU with the town of Syracuse and South Shore to explore the costs to extend water from the town down to this, to South Shore. So there's been some positive movements, but obviously it's still in the exploratory phase. So, okay, thank you, Jan, very much for
You're welcome.
reading through all of that. Okay, we've got 2 more items on their agenda. One is any further business that we need to discuss. Dan, do you have any updates on your trails? Just
I was just ready to get that.
Excellent.
It has started. The first thing has been done. The surveying has been done. And we have actually paid the first 2 bills to USI for doing that and submitted it to INDOT. So it's moving.
okay.
Yeah.
Good, good. Any estimated completion date?
The most negative is 2029, but most likely it's going to be 27 or 28. We've been told.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's moving,
Yeah.
and we're very grateful to the money that has been given to us from this K21, those people that are giving us money.
Yeah. So. Okay, great. Thank you, Dan. All right. Our next meeting date is July 10th, 2025. I believe that concludes the business. Okay, we've got a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all right. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and participating.